Ready? Play.
And welcome.
15 love.
How good is that start from Tsitsipas?
I always find it a bit of a shock to the system, just every time Medvedev starts a match, on how far he is back. It's staggering to me how far he's back. That's where he plays, that's where he wants to return, and he finds an ability to be effective.
Well, if you were with us earlier, you would have seen just how easily Medvedev was winning his service games in the semi-final this time last year, and how hard it was for Tsitsipas. He didn't have a love hold of serve in that semi-final last year at all. He's already got one on the board. Terrific start for him. Fascinated to see which way the win predictor's going here. What do you think, Brad? Wow.
Oh, come on. I would have thought...
Excuse me?
60-40 max. Maybe 55-45? 72-28? Yeah, well, I'm confused.
I'm right there with you, Fitz.
Daniil Medvedev to serve.
Well, we've said the win predictor's always had strong opinions. Hasn't let us down tonight.
I'm just getting up off the floor, by the way. I do see Medvedev winning the majority of that type of rally. Agree or not?
Agree.
Yeah, I think so.
Agree as well, Fitz.
That's what he wants.
Especially if Tsitsipas tries to stay into the backhand, as long as he did in that rally.
I mean, it's a good one-hander, the Tsitsipas backhand, but I think that's a good matchup for the Medvedev backhand, no matter which way you look at it.
He's sticking with the policy of dropping a little deeper on the second serve returns, as he did against Sinner. Interesting to watch if he continues with that tonight. Do you like that, Brad?
Before I answer that, pitch, I just wanted to mention that last point, he was also trying to chip short purposefully there, trying to draw Medvedev into the net a little bit. It'd be interesting to see if he sticks with that attack.
What he's trying to basis. He's trying to play like Ashley Barty.
There's only one Ash Barty.
His chip's definitely not as good as Ashley's.
Game. 1 game. Length. First service.
Well, it's a preconceived plan, isn't it? He's shown signs already several times that he wants to bring Medvedev forward. I mean, you know, when a player's that far back, yeah, there's merit in this. But as the match goes on, he'll become more used to it, Medvedev, but good stuff early on.
Yep, tactics conceived on the laptop, executed on the tennis court. It's great to see.
Well, you have to be prepared to volley well and for a long period of time.
Length. First service.
Well, 15 service games without a love hold in the semi-final last year, 2 already tonight. Things looking good for Tsitsipas, 2-1. Some nice touches here, Fitzy, early on from Tsitsipas.
Yeah, it's got the beginnings of something pretty exciting, doesn't it? It's all-court tennis, someone coming forward. You see some exciting stuff when that happens. It's about the matchup, isn't it? And two contrasting styles.
Brad, just going back, do you like Tsitsipas dropping deep on the second at the start of this match?
I do, Petch. I think that gives him a chance to settle in, make a few more returns early on. Then he can adjust and come forward if he's starting to feel the timing better and be more aggressive. But I think early on it's very important for him to put balls in play and be able to settle into those baseline rallies.
Time.
Nice, strong, purposeful walk to the back. Desperate to get his maiden major. A lot of support here in Melbourne for Tsitsipas as well. They're looking to reach his 4th major final. Looks very comfortable carrying the burden of expectation, doesn't he? Not everybody does.
I think it's not perceived a burden by the capable great players, is it? For most of us mortals, it is. If the expectation is there, it does wear heavily on you at times. Sometimes it hits you like a brick wall, but it doesn't seem for this man it does. The forehand is important, isn't it, for Tsitsipas? I mean, very. I mean, it's a heck of a shot, and he needs to do some damage with that shot tonight. Considered better than Medvedev's forehand. I think it's different, isn't it? But you'd take Tsitsipas's forehand, I think, in this matchup, but you certainly wouldn't take his backhand. I don't think. If someone is so far back, you know, if you get a short return there, so it's important, I think, for Tsitsipas to serve precisely. You don't have to serve Medvedev off the court, but if you can serve into a space that makes him drop one short, then you can use the forehand down the line. He's so far back, it is hard to hit a pass or a lob winner.
This is good. Unlucky for Medvedev, but already so much creative tennis from Tsitsipas.
Hey guys, there's really a lot going on down here tactically. You look at the different things that are happening. Tsitsipas looking for short approaches, drop shots, trying to drive it in. Fits, like you talked about, returning from this position just creates a lot of opening. Two times Tsitsipas has served wide on the deuce side. Medvedev's return has just been a little bit short, giving Tsitsipas a chance to approach immediately up the line. One thing that Daniil does extremely well from that really deep return position is he creates a lot of depth on the return normally.
14-15.
Bit of good fortune, but Fitzy absolutely spot on with the talk of accurate serving more than pace for Tsitsipas. He's down about 5 Ks on his first serve on average at the moment, looking for that accuracy. It's paid dividends so far. It's dropped just the 1 point, and that was off a net court. And there's another beautiful delivery. The 1-2 from Tsitsipas makes it 3-2 opening set.
Tsitsipas leads 3 games to 2.
But you know that if Tsitsipas is not precise with his serve, then he can get into trouble with a slow one. But his objective is not to give Medvedev a chance to swing at the return. And I wonder what Medvedev will do to counteract that, because he'll be thinking about it already.
Yeah, well, just looking at the numbers here, 77% first serves in, and what was he for the tournament so far? 65. So that drop in pace has enabled him to make a lot of first serves and protect his second effectively at the moment. So you love a start to a match like this. 13 minutes gone, but as Brad just said, there's an awful lot going on down there, and it's going on at around 80 miles an hour. It's not easy to keep accomplishing the goals that they're trying to. Many have made the comment that Medvedev is playing against history, not just the opponents that are left in this draw. Of course, it is Nadal waiting for him in the final, but no male player in the Open era has won their maiden major and then gone on to win their second title in the next major. Andy Murray, the closest to accomplish that when he won the US Open in 2012, came down here to Melbourne and made the final in 2013. But he is a unique character. His fastest serve of this tournament is 213 Ks, and it came on match point down against Auger-Aliassime in that quarterfinal.
30 love. 40-9.
Right at this, sorry, Mark, right at this moment, I feel like, just watching, just picking up a feeling that we're expecting Medvedev to hold easier. So there's more worry for me when Tsitsipas gets up to serve, as well as he's played, and he has really made a good opening here. You just worry from his perspective that Medvedev will get his teeth into these games shortly.
Guys, better job on that wide forehand return from Medvedev there. I have it on from a good resource down here that Medvedev only won 3 of 30 wide serves the other night against Felix Auger-Aliassime on that deuce side. So Tsitsipas has been targeting that right now for sure.
Gee, can we dwell on that for a second? 3 from 33, was it? That's hard to believe.
3 from 30.
3
from
from
a very reliable source down here, Fitz. His initials are Sam Groff.
30-15.
Postulus in the front of Tsitsipas's box there. That is now 8 from 9 points when he served to the Medvedev forehand that he's collected, harvesting some nice numbers early on. And there's another one. He's got a strategy, he's executing, and it's working nicely for him on serve. 4-3, Tsitsipas. Brad, I got to ask you, as a coach, current coach, is that the sort of number, if you're in Medvedev's camp, you're thinking about how you counter it?
I mean, I think you have to be. If you see that, you know, you have to assume that they get the analytics and that they saw that as well. I think if he keeps getting served out wide on that side, on the deuce side, that he's just got to really pay attention to that depth on the cross court. The one that he won so far here was a much more angled and deeper and more penetrating return.
Brad, surely then you've got to cut off that angle, don't you? I mean, if you're Medvedev and you're losing out there so often, I mean, you give him the middle serve a little more until he shows you that he can hit that as well.
Much to admire, much to ponder over the opening 7 games. Nothing between them so far. Both will be pretty happy with how they've settled. Both probing for some weaknesses. There's Apostolus, Nick, Steph's agent, Jerome Bianchi on the right behind him, Frederick Lavrov, his fitness trainer. Jerome's done some amazing work with Steph in the last few months as well. He needs a big shout out. Steph's talked about his doctor that obviously operated on his elbow, Frank Denzler. But Jerome has done an awful lot of work getting Steph back into this situation where he's actually got a chance to potentially win this major.
I'll tell you what, Daniil Medvedev is hitting the ball extremely clean right now. He is seeing the ball and he's squaring it up right in the middle of the racket every time.
Game Medvedev.
I'll be interested to see if Medvedev stands a little wider here. They were new balls that game. They're still going to be fast through the air here, or a little bit faster than they were the last time Tsitsipas served with old balls. That usually means that the player is inclined to go wide even more. Not always, but a lot of players think about that, going wider with the newer balls. And I'm interested to see if he starts cutting off the angle a little bit here, if Tsitsipas is continuing to have success with the wide serve.
Fitz, I don't know how you cut the angle off when you're standing that deep. Very hard to cut an angle from that position.
Yeah, you might have to move laterally and forward a little bit at the same time, or just stand a little bit further to your right. Maybe that'd be a starting point, I would think.
Got to be careful not to leave too much low-hanging fruit in that part of the court for the Medvedev forehand. Brad's just talked about how well he's hitting the ball, and that was over the height of the net. He could just lean on it down the line. Look at that. Look how big he's hitting the ball. Extra 13 Ks. His average was 119 coming into this match. Medvedev on his forehand side. He has gone up 10 Ks and he's not missing, and he's causing problems now for Tsitsipas.
So you can do it a little bit early as a bit of a shock tactic, but if you continue to do it, a returner this good is going to make you play some very tough volleys. We might find out how good a volleyer Tsitsipas really is tonight. He was ready for that. He was looking for that wide one there for sure. That is telling for me. Very telling. He continued. We'll see it, 34 shots. Well, what a rally to keep the ball at that pace in the court. Let's dwell on that for a second. But he was content, Medvedev, there to continue to go to the Tsitsipas backhand wing. Only occasionally did he go to the forehand. I think he feels he's got the backhand of Tsitsipas covered. A little bit of a statement early.
Epic rally, and what a great opportunity for Medvedev.
By a whisker.
15-14.
A long whisker.
Living dangerously.
3 tough points to save break points. What an angle on that backhand. He measured that, didn't he? Took his time, measured it, created enough topspin on this ball to get the angle.
Yeah, the somewhat deficiency in the slice is more than made up at times by his ability to create with that topspin backhand. That's the return that Brad's been talking about. Once he gets locked in on that, a little more pace, a little more depth and angle. Made that down the line shot, which has become a staple diet in this match for Tsitsipas, a little harder to make. Fourth chance to break.
Let's go.
This is so good visually, isn't it?
Tsitsipas.
What a read from Medvedev, what anticipation. Good vigilance from this man.
And just subtly opened the face at impact. Beautiful volley.
He's relentless though, the Russian, isn't he? And that deep return position allows him consistently to build pressure on opponents in these juice add. He gives nothing away.
Guys, from down here, I have to say that I think Daniil Medvedev is breathing just at a slightly more relaxed level. Stefanos is breathing a little bit hard. It's been a couple times that one rally, 38 rallies, he took him a little bit of time to recover from that.
I wonder if he will move forward to cut that off at some stage.
Advantage Tsitsipas.
Because when the serve's that accurate, it doesn't. We've talked about it doesn't have to be that big. 169 k's out wide, the angle is accentuated. It keeps moving wide, and because Medvedev is so far back, hard to get any purchase.
Oh, he's made it.
Well, he said earlier in the summer he loves tennis more than chess, but I tell you what, sometimes I wonder if there's some subconscious chess talent in there.
Fitz, it only took Daniil Medvedev 4 sets, deep into the 4th set, to make any kind of return adjustment against Maxim Cressy. So I wouldn't expect an adjustment too early here.
That was a dangerous decision, though, wasn't it, Brett? I mean, that went deep into the 4th, and he was in a bit of trouble for a while. Well, I love this tactic, though, and this is, I think, what Tsitsipas has to incur into his game. He needs to, or incorporate into his game. He needs to use this off forehand all night, I think. It's good enough, it's a big enough shot, and it helps him finish the point. I think his best tactical move to win this match, really.
Best sport in the world, especially when the game unfolds like that. 4 breakpoint save deep in the 1st set. Tsitsipas comes through, scrambles to safety. 5-4. And Medvedev was right to take on the forehand, wasn't he, Brad? At love 40, just needs to execute it, just missed it wide, because the quality coming from the other side of the court at the moment will be a little concerning for the Russian.
Yeah, he'll obviously look back and rue that miss, but I thought that was a good ball to take the risk on. he was right on that ball. His feet were underneath him. He had great balance. It was a good hit on the ball. He just barely missed it.
Very rare to get one past this man at the back of the court. He is so balanced, Medvedev. There's Jerome at the back there with his in the white mask next to Fred, who's in the red shirt. They've been together now with Steph for over 3 years. Tight-knit team. Perfectly poised at the end of the opening set, the second men's semi-final of today. Tsitsipas' serve under siege for the first time tonight, but the strategy that he thought about before coming out onto court has got him through that game. And he built a little pressure on the Medvedev serve here.
Thank you. Thank you.
But it is no Ash Barty slice, not yet. He's got to work on that, and if he does, it's going to bring another dimension into his game. It's an okay backhand slice, but he opens up a lot, I think, technically. I'm interested to hear what the expert coach down on the court, Brad Stein, thinks about that, but I think he opens up, gets it a bit too front on, and it's light. And the feel is not quite there enough yet. I think it's better in his volley, maybe.
Yeah, Fitzy, there's definitely room improvement technically on that slice. That's twice he's actually been trying to play it short and just caught the tape for what he was trying to do with that ball. He actually hit it pretty well. But as far as the slice itself in general, he definitely needs to turn more, close the shoulders a little bit, close the feet a little bit, and he needs to lengthen the swing with the arm. He has a tendency to open the body and start the swing with the body.
Yeah, so he ends up too front on, and it doesn't produce enough weight on the ball from my perspective. He needs to lean on it more with a more closed stance, I think. He certainly gets around for his topspin backhand. Beautiful.
Russian efficiency on show on serve once again from Medvedev. He's had that tape on last couple of matches that I've watched him. Certainly not affecting his movement. Just be a little bothered with some of that tape, actually. Your pictures are looking at Tsitsipas. We were able to look down at the court, and I could just see Daniil messing around with his left leg there. serve. Stark contrast to his last service game. Gorgeous, but a deft touch at the end there. 6-5. To say Fitz is about the most ambitious I think I've seen Tsitsipas play in a match against Medvedev, with all the little touches, the drop shots, the short slices and everything else. It's not easy to accomplish in a massive match like this as well.
No, but I think he realizes that he has to win points in more ways against Medvedev. He has to risk a little bit tonight. I think he's on paper, he's not the favorite. It's a winnable match, we all know that, but I think he feels he probably has to show a bit of initiative, use other methods to win points, and so far he's been excellent. You know, he's brought Medvedev forward a few times. He's used the drop shot, he's serving and volleying, he's using the forehand down the line to come in and then finish the point.
Time.
I love the way he's playing. This is impressive for me.
% of his first serves going in, yet to deliver an ace, which is unusual for Medvedev through 5 service games. Just goes to show the reach of this man. His ability to read the serve at the moment is good, and there is absolutely nothing between them. It's been picture perfect on serve from both of them. 37 minutes gone, it's flown by. Medvedev looking to take this into a tiebreak. There is his first ace. It's 82nd of the tournament.
Let's not forget he outserved Nick Kyrgios in the second round, and you know, we all, I think, agree that that's one of the great serves in the modern era, and he just subtly, without anyone really noticing, I think until we looked at the stats, he outserved Kyrgios. Not just in terms of aces, but winning points off that serve. So it's there, it's underneath the surface, and I'm sure he'll create a few more service aces as this match goes on.
Tiebreak.
All right, guys, strap on your seatbelts.
Do you think it's a must-win set for Stefanos here, Brad?
I don't think it's a must-win, Fitz, but I think it's much more important for him.
Couple of conservative returns on second serves from that side, and Tsitsipas has been very quick to pounce on the forehand. One incredible stat that's kind of flown under the radar in this opening set. Daniil Medvedev has dropped 1 point on serve.
Well, that goes out the window. That is incredible, by the way, but it goes out the window in the tiebreak, and it starts again here. hockey or what? I mean, we're here working. This is work. What we're doing, watching this.
Nights like this are so special. Great insight there from Tsitsipas. If you've watched Medvedev play, he often takes that fast cross court. And he's doing a great job on it. We tracked his backhand against Medvedev in the semis last year, and when he had to hit 2 backhands in a rally, Tsitsipas, he won just 6 out of 27 points. Tonight, he's won 4 out of 7. He's over 50%. Even though that trade is something that Medvedev's looking to do, he's not getting as much success at the moment.
Both serving at over 70% first serves. How good's that? Tsitsipas slightly better.
Well, he's accepted the challenge. And he is outlasting Medvedev in that exchange at the moment.
I wouldn't have picked that. Thought it'd be very competitive there, but I thought Medvedev's backhand would be the one that would come out on top most of the time. In a bit of trouble here.
They played 3 tiebreakers in their previous meetings, and whoever has won the tiebreaker has gone on to win. Medvedev in Shanghai 2019 won the opening set on a breaker. Tsitsipas in the ATP finals, opening set on a breaker. And more recently at Roland Garros, Tsitsipas won the middle set on a breaker.
This thing's not over yet, you guys.
Well, we get the luxury of looking at Hawkeye graphics here on the full screen. Tsitsipas on 80% down the tee on the ad side. Is Medvedev reading that, or will Tsitsipas change things up?
Not necessarily the wrong tactic. He was a little anxious to get forward, wasn't he, early in the rally? But that volley in these circumstances is not world class enough. That particular one I'm talking about, he's capable, but didn't do enough with that volley. It's a fine line though, because that ball is coming fast when you make that decision on the forehand volley.
And a surprising one, Fitz. 2 backhands he's missed in the breaker. Now they're a little bit shocking.
1 millimeter out, as was Tsitsipas's first serve. It created an opportunity for Medvedev. He didn't take it. It's unlike him. Things are getting tight. 2 millimeters in.
What can you say? It's a game of millimeters.
Absolutely brilliant point. Played through the centre, gave Tsitsipas no angles, but created one for himself.
And I think the mark of a champion. He's missed 2 backhands that are regulation in this tiebreaker that you wouldn't normally see him miss, and he still has the belief that he can hit that. This is a difficult shot made to look very easy. At 5-all in the breaker, that's how important that was.
Set point to the Russian.
I think that's huge.
Red hot atmosphere, ice cold Medvedev, and he takes the opener 7-6.
I know it wasn't paramount that Tsitsipas win that first set, but the way I read this, just in my own fashion, is that Medvedev has room to improve here. I'm not sure Tsitsipas does. He's played an outstanding set as Tsitsipas, and he lost it.
Well, they're the numbers, and we'll make a little mazy run through those and the kick stats that will come up. But as Fitzy was saying, 70% of first serves going in. That's not unusual in this modern era right now, with these players at the height that they are, with the technique that they have. And this is what's been going on with the work rate. Tsitsipas has worked harder in that opening set. The hitting load, anything over 100 kilometers an hour being delivered. You can see there again, Tsitsipas just marginally ahead of Medvedev. He's having to make more changes. Tsitsipas looking to try and get that forehand into play if he can. Sprints equal pretty much, but once again, Steph moving a little bit more, but partly that because he's coming into the net to try and play in the forecourt. But a set of tennis, Brad, that had absolutely everything that's great about this game.
Yeah, that was a great set of tennis to watch, you guys. In my mind, Medvedev kind of stole that set, really. He stole the breaker. And the point that really stood out is Stefanos losing that point on the backhand down the line from Medvedev.
Yup. Brad Stein just saying that he stole the opening set, and that certainly feels that way. Although I'm sure if you're sitting in Medvedev's chair, you'll be saying, well, I did have the 4 breakpoint opportunities and my opponent had none. Of course, that came in the 9th game.
And I think he won 4 or 5 more points in total in that set. So, but I agree with Brad. It felt like he stole it a bit, and I think it was a big loss for Tsitsipas there. It remains to be seen, but I just feel like this guy can get better.
It feels as though as well Steph has to adjust his game. He has to create more. He has to have more imagination. He has to be visually aware of the space that Medvedev's giving him on the other side of the court, and that's just harder to execute. That was a thrill. What else have they got in store for us?
Number 15.
response from Medvedev.
That was entertaining from down here, you guys. I mean, just watching little cat and mouse. That's the first one of those that Stefanos has actually made, and Daniil's got an education from the previous ones that he missed. He was on that.
I think the drop shot is not the play. I think the short slice to bring Medvedev forward is a different shot than that.
Agreed, Fitzy, agreed.
And that is what we've talked about with Ash Barty. She has the ability to drop that ball short rather than a drop shot. Because if you get the drop shot wrong, it's going to sit up and it's going to get to the top of the apex and give someone a chance to knock it off. When you chip the ball short and bring the person forward a little bit, it's a different ball to deal with. 13-14. But he's got a chance here at the first game.
Scintillating shot making from Tsitsipas. What a start to the second.
I'm applauding in the com box. What a point.
He had to do so many things right in that rally. Used his forehand when he could. His backhand stood up to the challenge, created the width. Well, we didn't take a breath there. Straight back on it, both of them. And Tsitsipas gains an advantage early here in the second. What an evening's entertainment. And we haven't even done an hour of it yet. Change up from Steph. He's probably cost him the opening set. Overplayed the tee serve on the ad side. We highlighted it before those couple of points in that tiebreaker that he'd gone 80% of the time down the tee. Medvedev sitting on the forehand. You can see there he wasn't that time because he was keeps getting better and better.
13-15.
You leave yourself vulnerable, don't you? If you stand there, hit across court to run in. Stick with the down the line one, Steph. He's come out pumping in this second set. Where's this come from? He's just gone to another level in terms of adrenaline.
15.
That point was so well handled. Really impressive stuff. Stefanos is definitely picking it up right now, Fitz.
Tsitsipas leads 2 games to love.
See that look from Daniil? Sort of a little frown, saying, hang on a sec, what do you think you're doing down there playing this well?
9 minutes of perfection. Keep your eyes on the screen, Brad. Win predictor's coming.
39.
It's not the biggest swing we've seen this week.
14.
Well, if that had come before the early break in the second set, you'd expect it to be a lot different, but that must incorporate the 2-love lead that Tsitsipas has, I think.
Length. For service.
That slice backhand short instead of the drop shot. He hit it pretty well in that rally. Didn't win it in the end.
Yeah, the execution on that one was pretty dang nice. Drew Medvedev right up into the court where he wanted him to be.
It's a real calmness around Medvedev in Melbourne, though, has to be said. He's been in some pretty high pressurized moments in this tournament, and yet apart from the match with Maxim Cressy, he's really not allowed any external things to really upset him internally, as we see a fairly damp Melbourne outside. He's given himself the best possible opportunity to turn things around here, even after that incredible start to the second set for Steph. Sports psychologist not with him here in Melbourne. Was in New York, of course, when he claimed his first ever major title. Curious as how that win predictor doesn't give him a bit more of a bump up of 1%. I'm just looking at Medvedev's record at Grand Slams, having won the first set, and make him at 45 wins and 3 losses in the main draw, and the only 3 losses have come against Pierre Hugues-Herbert, Roland Garros 2019. Ended up going down in 5 sets. Actually won the first 2 sets there. Lost to Goffin, having won the opening set in 5 at Wimbledon in 2019. And Hubie Hurkacz at Wimbledon this year, 2021. He was up a set. In fact, he was up 2 sets to 1 before Hurkacz came back and won 3-3. I think they actually came back and finished that match, didn't they? The next day.
Maybe the win predictor realised that the percentage chances of Medvedev winning at the start were maybe a bit too far in his favour. Maybe it's just compromised itself a bit. Brought it back to square one a little bit. Who knows?
14.
Maybe I was a bit too harsh on Tsitsipas at the start. I'm going to square this up.
This is a very, very good mental performance right now from Tsitsipas, showing a lot of fortitude. It's just one first serve in the second set.
You know, Mark, I'm not sure about you and Brad and other players, but sometimes in matches you think about the result too much. You start doing that, then you can, you know, I think it can really handicap you. he looks to me like he put that first set behind him and just thought, okay, I'm just going to play. I'm going to play my game. I'm not concerned about being a set. Don't worry about the result. Just get out there and play each point. He's playing freely.
13 all.
Wish I could have done that more. Play without constraint.
Oh, how good is that? How has he swept that for a winner?
14 all.
You got a big smile on your face down there, Bradstein. You must have, being able to watch this stuff.
Best seat in the house, Fitz. You know that. You sit down here plenty. It's hard not to have a big smile on your face when you're sitting down here watching this kind of match.
Cain Medvedev.
Rapid hold from the Russian. Closes the gap to the one game, but it is that break that Tsitsipas has at the start of the second that he still holds on to. 3-2. Well, the next gen didn't quite develop into the superstars that many people thought they would, but this generation that's coming through certainly have started to forge their own paths to glories. Medvedev, of course, ultimately getting that major in New York, but Tsitsipas as well with a title in London and so close at Roland Garros. And not many players, I have to say, would have come out and been able to elevate their standard to the place that he took it after that opening set. It's a rare quality. Medvedev looking to try and accomplish things that, of course, some of his fellow countrymen have managed to do. Stefanos and Safin, of course, picking up Grand Slam titles throughout the course of their careers. Safin winning here in 2005.
You know, we're seeing shots time and time again here that sometimes you only see once in a match. That forehand there was so difficult, and probably accentuated by the fact that Medvedev is so far back. That's where he's playing. But to hit that shot is extremely hard.
Fitz, you mentioned it before, though, on that deuce side, trying to take away that wide angle. I wonder, you just made me start thinking, I wonder if he and Gilles Severa have ever sat down and discussed that and what they feel the benefits are of staying this deep in comparison to coming up into the court a little bit more.
Length for service.
Brad, if you just walk, what is it, 15 meters and just ask him that question, do you think he'll answer you right now?
I can shoot a text over to Gilles. I don't know about talking to Danielle right now.
No, I'm saying Gilles, he's about 15 meters in the box, just to your right.
Oh, I thought you meant you wanted me to walk out on the court right now.
No.
With the microphone.
Oh, I'm not that outrageous.
You're pretty outrageous, Petch.
Well, I certainly can't help because I've never seen anyone stand this far back consistently over the course of matches. It's something new. You have to be quick to do it, but in some ways, with certain balls coming at you, you had more time to react. But it's a strange place to be on a tennis court.
Well, you'd expect this to go wide, given the success he's had. And the problem for you is that Medvedev also recognized that. You could see he was leaning there. Medvedev tried to change the direction of that forehand return. He's gone cross-court pretty much exclusively. Try to find the backhand of Tsitsipas, overhit it. And a reprieve on the break point. But another one here.
Losing the backhand-to-backhand contest. I'm amazed. Tsitsipas really hitting that top spin backhand of his well. Not amazed. I mean, obviously can happen, but I thought the majority of times Medvedev would win that matchup.
It's interesting to me that the cross-court backhand that he missed previously, Daniil Medvedev is such a purposeful player. He has a concept in his head of what he wants to get, what he's doing with each ball. And I just wonder on that rally why he tried to push a little bit wider outside the court, trying to open the court there. But I didn't feel that he necessarily needed to. Just settle into that rally, stay there a little bit longer. Because I agree with you. I think in the end, he does have the advantage in that rally.
Late for service.
Yet to convert on any of his 6 break points in the match. Like that's a accumulation of pressure of returns coming back from that deep position that Medvedev decides is the right play, and once again asks the question of Tsitsipas's forehand. He's barely missed it, but it is an 8th break point of the match for the Russian.
Yeah, and over time, it's tough to maintain that level, isn't it? Because Medvedev there didn't really do anything exceptional, did he?
He didn't, but those are the margins again we've seen tonight.
2 of them back-to-back there. And he's playing at such a high level, Tsitsipas, and just a couple of subtle errors that weren't really bad shots go against him.
Made it an art form making his opponents miss over the course of his career. Medvedev, when he's returning, doesn't mind getting a little bit more aggressive on his own service games.
51.
regardless, he is. He's both of those things. He just keeps coming at you.
Cain, Medvedev leads 4 games to
Took him
3.
until his 6th service game to drop an ace down. He's got 6 now. He's got 4 games on the board in the second. It's 4-3, Medvedev. There has been no plateauing in this match at all. Started with an excellent opening point, drop volley from Tsitsipas, and it's maintained that intensity all the way through. There is that unique style that he possesses on that forehand side, but the determination is evident. Not the best shot we've had at Melbourne this tournament, I have to be honest.
Are you
It's
sure
there
that's
somewhere?
Are you sure it's Melbourne?
It could have been anywhere. Who knows? Well, that's man's house, and he's got a pretty nice roof, hasn't he? He's got a pretty nice seat as well. And I'm sure he's telling a few fireside tales as well of his wonderful career in moments like this, where he did the right thing at the right time. Don't have to win all the points, just the right ones. And Medvedev's done that.
Yeah. Had the privilege of talking to Rod a few hours ago with Pat Rafter. I'm name dropping now. Australian tennis royalty, and Rod was telling some great old stories about his family and his brothers and the competition and the typical brotherly love, so to speak.
Inverted commas.
Inverted commas over the days. He was funny.
15 long.
Rocket Rod inspired many Australian tennis players, no question about that. His style, his humility.
Can you guys imagine how many extra steps Medvedev puts in a match running wide to that forehand on the return? It's basically a running forehand every time.
I think he covers a lot more ground, but he is 6'6", Brad. Those steps are pretty long. Not sure the number of steps are. No, absolutely. Yeah, he covers a lot more ground because of that.
Cain, Tsitsipas. 4 games over.
One of the things that he has learned to do, though, is not go away in matches. That's been one of the big changes for him. That's why he's worked so hard with a sports psychologist. Not for everyone, but it was something he needed. And you can see even in the second set, went down the break. Tsitsipas lighting it up. And he just waited for his chance.
Did you see the technique off the right leg there? Deliberately ran through that ball. Hit it off the right foot here. Look at that. Stepping into the ball, catches the outside edge. That's a rocket. Speaking of rockets.
Thank you. 15 long.
Guys, that previous point, Stefanos definitely picked up the pace. He was actually lighting balls up. But at the end of that point, he's also struggling to catch his breath a little bit. Still hasn't quite completely recovered yet.
Well, it's not a body contact sport, but it is physical. Stopping and starting for sometimes over 4 hours. Medvedev 2 nights ago, 4.5 hours. No wonder Aspardi's so relaxed this week. Her matches have been taking about 50 minutes.
Less work, more pay. That's what it's all about.
Well, didn't see this coming either.
The unorthodox body movements of Medvedev.
Please.
What a chance for Tsitsipas.
Wow.
What a gift. Couple of double faults. Tsitsipas will serve for the second set.
Tsitsipas leads 5 games to 4. Violation, visible obscenity, warning Medvedev.
Bro, are you mad? Bro, are you mad? For what? And his father can talk every point. Bro, are you stupid? His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. Repeat answer my question. Will you answer my question? Can you answer my question, please? Can his father talk every point? Oh my God! Oh my God! You are so bad, man! Oh my God! How can you be so bad in semi-final of a Grand Slam? Look at me! I'm talking to you.
What do you want?
To give him coaching because his father is talking every point.
Please wait where you are.
What time? I'm talking to you. How can these guys be so stupid in the semi-final of a Grand Slam?
Well, let's just have a listen and see whether Medvedev continues here, but he is absolutely livid. What I was saying about being calm, throw that out of the window. He is absolutely ferociously unhappy with the umpire for not giving Apostolos a warning for talking every point. He got a code for a gesture that was unsporting and spent the entire changeover saying to the umpire, you need to give him a warning for talking.
Finally, the crowd got to him, though. The crowd caused that. They cheered when he double folded to lose the set.
Thank you.
And then he gave the gesture, and then he gets the warning, and then he snapped a little bit. But, you know, the crowd should not have booed him for that. Or cheered for that, I mean. And as an Australian, I don't like that. And now Stefanos senses the moment to really milk it from the crowd. So it's everyone in this stadium almost at the moment against Daniil Medvedev. He can't drop the ball short from way back there across court. That's asking for trouble. He has to change tactically on that return. Medvedev.
14-15.
There's no love lost between these two. They got on a little better at Laver Cup, but they are never going to be great friends.
Thank you.
They both got the same dream, winning major tennis events.
Tell you what, pretty good effort from Medvedev here. He was so angry at the change of ends, and to pull himself together and continue to play at this level, it's impressive.
Just channeled that anger so positively.
And guys, like I mentioned, if you look at Stefanos, he's still struggling just a little bit to recover. That last point, he actually exhausted the shot clock. Umpire gave him an extra second or two.
Yeah, he's pretty close to losing it here as well. He's at 2-1. Yeah.
Tsitsipas.
Absolute pandemonium inside the Rod Laver Arena at the moment as Tsitsipas pierces the defenses of the Russian. Sets up another opportunity to claim the second set. What just unfolded at the tail end of that second set. Incredible scenes and a monumental moment for Tsitsipas. Centerpiece.
Do you understand Greek? Do you understand Greek? So next time it should be a correlation because he's speaking Greek. If you don't, you are a, how can I call it? Small cat.
Well, Medvedev continuing his dialogue with the umpire. As we roll the credits, which were sensational again in terms of first serve percentage, but they don't really tell you anything, because what really mattered was what happened in the last two games. It's been an excellent set. That's what that will tell you when you've got that many winners to unforced. If you're Tsitsipas playing somebody who moves as well as the Russian does.
I just don't understand why this crowd dislikes Daniil Medvedev so much. I don't get it. They have gradually sort of turned on him in this fortnight. It started with Nick Kyrgios when he played the Australian. Nick Kyrgios. The crowd was sort of incited there to get vocal, and they've turned on him. I don't know why. He doesn't deserve it.
Well, that was...
He's stupid. His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. His father can talk every point. Repeat answer my question. talking to you.
What do you want?
To give him coaching because his father is talking
Just a
everyone.
friendly reminder, please always wear your mask unless
Time.
you are eating.
What time? I'm talking.
Well, this is Medvedev continuing it.
You are a, how can I call it? Small cat.
And I guess that was his way of making sure he didn't get another code violation, which would have been a point penalty. He has, in some ways, still got his mind on the job at hand because he didn't want to self-sabotage himself there, but he's on the edge, isn't he, Brad?
I mean, that exchange was, I don't even know exactly how to describe it. When he started yelling at him to look at me, I mean, it's just a little bit over the time. And I understand what Fitzy's saying, but at the same time, the crowd was applauding the fact that Stefanos had just broken. I don't think you can be upset at them for that.
I think it's been an cumulative effect, Brad, over the last 4 matches.
Yeah, I understand that, Fitz, but at the same time, you know, we've talked about him working with a sports psychologist. He should have some concept of the idea of what's going to happen out here against Stefanos. We know that every time he plays here on Rod Laver Arena, that there's a very large Greek contingent, and they're very vocal. They're very boisterous. I mean, mentally and emotionally, he should be prepared for that.
But Brad, I don't think this is a small contingent.
I said a large contingent.
Okay, but I don't think it's just a contingent. I think there is a general feeling from the crowd that they don't like him, and I just don't understand that. I mean, he is magnificent what he's done this week, these 2 weeks. Not the umpire's fault, by the way, I don't think. I mean, it's pretty tough to give a coach a violation when he's speaking behind a mask, or if he's speaking behind a mask. It was just a way for him to vent his frustration, I think, there.
Yeah, and his father can speak every point. If he's being encouraging, can't coach, but he can certainly be saying, great job, let's go, come on, here we go. I mean, those kind of things, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I know, but he's contending that maybe he is specifically coaching rather than just encouraging.
He's got no way to prove that, though.
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line is that was a pretty immature explosion that we saw from him.
Yeah, I think it's a cumulative effect, and it's just built up, and it finally exploded. I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying the frustration is there. You can see it.
We did learn one thing, though. He's a cat person, not a dog person.
Beautiful. Yeah, they do say always try and find at least one enemy to keep you alert, don't they? He's actually got a couple out there right now, Medvedev.
A subtle choice of words. He better get his mind back on the job here, though, because Tsitsipas lifted. I thought he was playing almost at his extremities in the first set, but he upped it, upped the ante.
You know, to me, guys, one of the differences between the first set and the second set is that as much as we enjoy the tactics and the strategy that Stefanos was employing, in the second set, to me, he just backed himself more and said, I'm going to match my game. Seems to me that he got away from a lot of the little tactical things that he was trying to do, and he was just hitting tennis balls.
Already a pretty big game here for the Russian at the start of the third. And the crowd getting on him in between first and second. This could be an adventure.
15-14.
Where has this serving come from, by the way? Because it happened against Auger-Aliassime. The second serve was ballooning long, Brad. I haven't, maybe you guys have seen it more often than me, but I haven't seen that in his game much.
No, I agree, Fitz. I was going to mention it earlier. I mean, that cost him enormously, especially in the first set against Auger-Aliassime. He lost that set based on double faults. Double faulted on that break point previously, and now here. Very meek-looking double fault.
When he's in trouble, he doesn't mind going big, does he? That's one of his biggest serves tonight at 2-10. An absolute tracer onto the line. Well, he had to be alert there, did Medvedev, and maybe that will make him slightly more enlightened and get himself back to focus on the opponent rather than everything else that is out of his control. He's made his point to the umpire now.
He's got to move on.
And he's invested a lot emotionally, Brad, as well, Tsitsipas, in the last 10 or 15 minutes. If Medvedev could get a break here, we could see a little bit of a drop, I feel, from the Greek.
Yeah, I think there's that potential pitch. We have to see if he can maintain the level.
Yep.
He started that last set phenomenally well, dropped off just a little bit, and then closed it out extremely strong again. He's got to maintain that sense of urgency that he had in the last game to close out the set.
He's certainly proving that he's a
15
pretty fine volleyer, isn't he?
And he needed to be, again, incredible court coverage from Medvedev. Real sense of intent from that return from Medvedev.
And that last forehand pitch, that thing was flat as a pancake. Needed some syrup for that ball. It's the dangerous moments that define these great champions, and this is a dangerous one right now for Tsitsipas. He's had a couple of chances already in the Russians' opening service game, but pressure building here. It's unrelenting.
I think when you're that far back and you hit a flat passing shot attempt, if you're a quick athlete at the net, it's a little easier to, I think, read that and cover the space. so far back to make that pass.
Cain, Tsitsipas.
We've got a ball game, I know that.
1 game on.
Excellent couple of serves as well. Been able to straighten out his arm since the elbow surgery that thankfully has proved to be successful. And those couple of serves going against the grain in terms of where he's been serving predominantly tonight. Excellent execution.
$15 love. $30 love. $40 love.
Surely the umpire's got to say something there.
Yeah, that goes back to what you were saying, Fitz. That was inappropriate, and the umpires should absolutely say something.
Trying to let his tennis do the talking at the moment. Medvedev 2-1, third set. Pistol on the phone or walkie-talkie, just trying to get maybe some advice about what he should do to try and handle the situation out here at the moment. But it's a little complicated for him right now. Russian seems to have calmed down to some degree, not seething as much as he was at the end of the second set. But you get the sense with Medvedev, it's never far from the surface.
Time.
Medvedev isn't everyone's cup of tea, but he is authentic, he is original, and he is not one to airbrush reality as well when he feels as though there's an injustice. That we were hoping would develop into something a little special. We've certainly done that. Tennis has been of the highest quality, and we've had just a little extra as well from this man. Tsitsipas more than holding up his end of the bargain in adding to the entertainment.
Not 15.
Sharp.
Wow, guys, that was an impressive volley.
30-15.
The purity of this strike was bewildering.
Guys, that was what I was talking about earlier about him just backing himself in those kind of exchanges. I think he can match Medvedev shot for shot.
Tsitsipas. 2 games over.
You know, the better players, they gain momentum and start playing to a higher level the longer a tournament like this goes on. All the great players tend to do it. And at the beginning of this tournament, I didn't think he was in the form that was good enough to get this far and to win and to have a chance to win. But he has improved match after match, and he's starting to peak, isn't he, Tsitsipas?
$15.
Another fairly lengthy exchange. Take a look at that. You were asking how much further Medvedev has to run in a match. It's particularly out wide on that forehand side. Well, what's that? Almost another 300 meters tonight so far.
It would be interesting if we could see how much of that is based purely on the return position, whether he's running to the middle or whether he's running wide on either side. He's got to cover some ground when he returns from so deep.
Just stood his ground to make sure that travelled the required distance over his baseline as he claims another hole to serve in this third. 3-2.
Emirates is celebrating 25 years in Australia, creating far better moments. So look out for our Emirates fan cams to create your moments right now. Download the Decisive Fame app from your app store, follow the box to create your profile, and when we find you on our cameras, we will send you
Desperate
a
lunch, every point as valuable as each other out here tonight. Umpiring in the modern era isn't just about calling the score, as the umpires found out tonight. It's also about trying to manage the two warriors that are doing battle as well. Both these two increasing number of matches against each other, creating that great rivalry that we have benefited from over the last 15 years with the Big Four. And we are going to witness many more of these titanic encounters between Tsitsipas and Medvedev. Semi-finals of the Australian Open. Rafael Nadal waiting in the final. Rafa hoping they've got another 3 hours in them as well.
Well, the variety getting him into trouble a bit here, Tsitsipas. I mean, if you drop shot down the line to the incoming forehand, it's fraught with danger.
Please.
Just starting to poke a few more serves out wide on that ad side. The predictability perhaps cost him at the opening set. Could have been 2 sets to love up had the mini break in the tie break.
Who wins the physical battle here? If they go to 5 and it goes deep.
Well, I think Brad's touched on it. I think he's a little more emotional at times, Tsitsipas. I think he invests more emotion and in the encounter, and he looked winded at the end of that rally. I think Medvedev wins it.
It seems to me, Petch, also that he just takes a little more energy to produce his shots. He just works a little bit harder with each ball.
Not that Daniil hasn't been emotionally invested here. In recent times, especially. Oh, magnificent. Yeah, magnificent. Gee, I love this forehand he's using, the off one, taking Medvedev so far out of court. It's accentuated by the fact that Medvedev is so deep, but that is pure class. You'd be happy with that one, wouldn't you?
Anyone in the world will be happy with that. Particularly at that scoreline as well. What's so impressive about Medvedev, though, straight back to business. His opponent's just mined a gem here in Melbourne, but it hasn't put him off his task, and there is just a weariness at the moment around Tsitsipas. Can he find some good first serves to get himself to 3-all? Yes, he can.
Advantage, Tsitsipas.
To the second and to the millimeter with his shot making. Valiant effort from Tsitsipas, 3-all.
3 games all.
Guys, it's a study in contrast down here right now. You've got Daniil Medvedev in the corner, toweling off. Zero emotions, not breathing at all. Stefanos pacing, 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 still breathing through the mouth a little bit.
Long.
We're just taking excellence for granted here, aren't we? I mean, this is such high level.
Yeah, Fitz, it's interesting because it's like Petch said early on, Daniil Medvedev produces his strokes a little bit unconventionally. But even with that, he just looks so effortless at times. Stefanos, much more conventional, but he's working to produce his strokes.
Medvedev leads 4 games to 3.
Medvedev rolling through that service game, 4-3.
Can I have 3 more white towels?
And when you say making more effort, are you talking about the loading in the legs from Tsitsipas? Where's the effort, the extra effort coming from, Brad?
Yeah, Pitch, I think it starts right from the feet on up all the way through to the end of the swing. He loads a little deeper. He drives with the legs a little bit harder. He produces a lot of swings from open stances, so he's got to accelerate very hard at the ball. He just, I mean, when we see the work rate at the end of this set, I'm guessing that he's going to be well ahead. Just takes him a little bit more energy.
Time.
No debate, no discussion, no argument, and it is never great to see a person lose control in a manner. It's not an edifying sight at all that we saw from Medvedev, and he'll feel justified because he felt as though Apostolos was talking to Stefanos the whole time, but he's also become very enlightened as well about how much that detracts from his performance if he allows it to continue, and he hasn't allowed it to continue. He's got on with business.
He has, back on track. Sign of a pro.
15
A pro that just had a little dip in his attitude, probably.
30 love.
I feel as though he's going down the line a little more, Brad, on those second serve returns than those returns to try and create space for the bigger points to go across court, his favoured shot.
Yeah, I don't know about the second part, but he's definitely lined it up down the line a few more times, just changing position, maybe being a little more unpredictable.
Gee, that was an interesting ball.
It was the fake drop shot fits.
Yeah. I've seen Roger do that a bit, mate. The fake chip forehand and then accelerate for something longer.
Once he hit it.
Don't think I've seen Roger miss it though.
Tsitsipas. 4 games old.
I mean, again, there Fitz. I don't care if he's 6'6". He's taking 3 full sprint steps to get out to that ball, and he's making contact 6-8 feet outside the alley. It's a lot of room to cover.
Yeah, it is. To me, it's almost right now. It almost seems like his biggest strength is almost his biggest weakness at the moment. I mean, against Tsitsipas specifically.
First service. Thank you.
But he knows what he's doing, and he has his own reasons to stand so deep. Smash either. That was pretty high lob there, Brad. You would have been able to tell exactly, but to take that out of the air was a little risk. He never hesitated, did he?
No, not at all. That was very high, falling straight down.
Well, that ball wasn't that far away from Tsitsipas then. He didn't move. Is that because he's breathing harder? He looks a fraction stronger at the moment, doesn't he, Medvedev?
5 games to 4.
Yes, he does. And he edges ahead again in the third set, 5-4.
Much different pacing, guys, between the two players in their walk to their benches on this changeover. Daniil Medvedev was very upright, marching, nice pace. Stefanos was a little bit slow, a little bit deliberate.
This is sometimes where serving second in a set is actually beneficial. If you are starting to feel a little low on energy, get this extra bit of time here, refuel, get yourself together, gather yourself for the first 2 points the next game, get a nice little lead and get yourself home to safety.
Time.
Two hours and 2 minutes of high-octane, high-velocity tennis with very, very little at any stage between these two. No one's had breathing room, really, just to go and expand their game. Nip and tuck all the way through. Tsitsipas serving to stay in the third. with the change-up. How he guided that over the net beautifully. And he's found something a little extra special here, the Russian.
Love 30.
Yeah, waiting for the bread and butter approach up to the backhand wing there off the Tsitsipas forehand. He was there a step early, wasn't he?
Look how he got down to it.
I know. It's still a difficult shot, but he makes difficult look easy sometimes, most of the time. Here's the inch of daylight.
He wanted a cheap point there, Tsitsipas. He did not want to develop it. What a time to play your best returning game of the match. Triple set point.
Unusual for him to be that far back and not give himself room. You've got extra time. Let it jam in his body, right hip. To be the best, you've got to beat the best and play your best, and Medvedev has done that to wrap up the third set, 6-4. That was a returning game that belongs in the Hall of Fame. I like that. A return game that belongs in the Hall of Fame. It must have been good. Well, to be under that much pressure, to be in that moment where this third set felt it was going to be so decisive in terms of the outcome of the match, to go and suddenly play a drop shot on the first point. I mean, how's that to be in the moment and just to understand what you need to do? And Mark, not so much his body language there was really telling for me. It was the look on his face, the commitment and the determination on his face when he realized then he just was about to crack that serve. We just saw the very, very best of Medvedev, and he is an elite player and an elite thinker, and that was very special to watch. A luminous piece of skill at the start of the last game. And we talk so often about being mindset in sport, but actually, more importantly, it's being pliable, persuadable, porous enough to accept a thought and think that maybe there's something you could do a little bit better. And he invested in a strategy that we hadn't seen, and it turned the tide. And is there a way back for Tsitsipas now? He's actually never lost in a hard-court major, Medvedev, when he's won the opening set. He's 36-0. He's now 2 sets to 1 up. And are we heading for a Nadal-Medvedev final? Who do you think Rafa would prefer to play? I think the margins are small, to be honest.
Fourth set. Medvedev to serve.
Probably Tsitsipas because he's never won one. I would say that's the big outlier here.
And could the Nadal forehand attack the single-handed backhand a little easier? This is why best of 5 is the true test in men's tennis. Tsitsipas now staying way back to return serve. I'm not sure that's a tactic that will work for him. Staying way back.
Yeah, I don't understand that very much. I've been talking about how he's working a little bit harder. He's at a little higher work rate. And to generate his swing from that deep in the court is going to take even that much more energy.
And to me, it's probably reverting a little bit to playing Daniil Medvedev on his own terms a little bit, staying way back. I think his best chance is to play like he's been playing. Use the off forehand mainly. I know he got burnt on a big point there, but he's been hitting that magnificently. It's won him a lot of points. Yeah. Didn't get a return in almost there in that game by standing way back. Medvedev's on a roll.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens come Sunday anyway. Interesting to note, Brad, as well, Nadal's last 5 losses here at the Open have all come at night as well. Federer 2017 in the final, Cilic 2018 quarters, Novak 2019 in the final, of course, team quarterfinals 2020, Steph here last year. Big difference for him. It's at the benefit of the day matches.
I think the ball just flies a little bit better for him during the day. A little more action.
Closer, surely.
Yeah, Fitzy's got to take the ball more aggressive. He's got to continue to back himself. That last game, he just didn't feel dangerous from that deep returning position at all.
Agree. It's certainly, I know all games, we say this often, but this is a must-win game for me, for Tsitsipas. He cannot let Medvedev gain more momentum than he already has.
He made his move at the right time at the end of that third set. He won't mind that that particular game has escaped his clutches.
Violation coaching warning, Tsitsipas.
So, Brad, do you think that's an influence from the complaint from Medvedev, or because his father has the mask on? Yeah.
I think there's definitely some degree of that, Fitz, but at the same time, I mean, they've gotten more coaching violations than anybody in tennis for the duration of my career on the tour, which is 30 years.
40 love.
That's just a common situation that occurs with them, and I don't think it bothers them.
Well, that's a big statement. I hear you.
That I've somehow been on tour for 30 years.
You still look like a youngster. Certainly doesn't bother him because he switched back on again. Brad, for what it's worth, I think you're the Audie Murphy of tennis coaches. The baby face forever.
It was going to be the 12th hole to love for Medvedev out of 18 service games, but it's just become a little more problematic. Bridge too far for Tsitsipas to cross back, and it is Medvedev who crosses ends. 2-1 up in the fourth.
Guys, for me, there was a bit of interesting dynamics going on there after the coaching call, and then, I mean, Stefanos hit that great ball at,
thank you,
40.
Thumbs up is the same again.
It's a backhand down the line, and then his celebration afterwards. I mean, you're at 15-40, but he celebrated as if he was getting to break point there, which I think was a little bit of a relationship to the coaching call previously.
I mean, they don't love each other, do they, Brad?
Say that again, sorry?
They don't love each other, these two, at all.
That's for sure. There's no doubt about it. You go back to the situation that occurred with them in Miami.
Time.
Greek fans have always made this particular major very, very special. Very passionate, very loud. And Tsitsipas needs them right now.
Remember the Marcus Baghdatis
days?
How good was he? I miss him. He was great to watch.
Especially the 5 racket smashes in a row.
Wow, I was trying to forget that. The Cypriot.
15 all.
Going to have to be at his best here, you feel, Tsitsipas. And that was almost perfect, but 2 millimeters the wrong side of the line. Just sensing that Medvedev will be looking to make a move. Oh, how is he able to squeeze it down in that gap that just didn't seem to be there?
Well, it's either logic or physics, but it denied something there. So deep in the court, and he can still hit it over that high part of the net, and actually hit the winner in the end reasonably comfortably. Incredible shot.
He was alert, he was ready. There was a sense as he came out from the changeover that if there was any weakness on the other side of the net, he was going to exploit it.
Well, you picked it. You saw it 2 points ago. I don't know how you did that, Mark, by the way, but you know, it has been something that you've sensed that Tsitsipas has had to play at his best the whole match. There were periods when that thought left my mind in this match, but it's back. He has to play at his best right here. Even that little throwaway hit into the net. Is that where he's cracked? Is the question.
I think it's been coming for a little while now. Once he lost that third set, I think that it's an accumulation of everything that's gone on in the match physically, but I feel like mentally is where he's dropped off a little bit now. The last couple of games, he got away with the previous holds, but just a little bit inconsistent mentally right now.
Has it come a bit after this point, Brad? Maybe you can answer. Has it come a little bit since the warning?
For me, I was sensing it early in the set, prior to the coaching violation. I mean, I just think he's been wandering a bit mentally. It's just a sense that I have, and I think I've been talking about the work rate. I think the work rate is affecting him mentally. He's a little bit more tired.
I think that's a sixth sense, by the way, Mark.
Quiet, please.
Yeah, it's dropped
15.
Like an exaggeration to say off a cliff, maybe, but right now it's a small cliff he's dropped off in the last 5-10 minutes. Missing balls by that far, it means your balance is gone, or your concentration, or both. And Medvedev totally on top right now.
Yeah, it's an avalanche of excellence from the other end of the court at the moment.
Cain. Medvedev leads
4-1, 4-set, Medvedev. And it's a lot harder, Brad, to be the playmaker, and Tsitsipas has been the playmaker. We've seen Medvedev play like this throughout the course of his career.
Yeah, like, again, I go back to the fact that he just works a little bit harder, and he puts so much concentration and so much physical effort into that second set, and all the way through the third set, and all of a sudden Medvedev lifts his game, and you could just see it deflated him a little bit. And I think he was holding the sense of fatigue at bay previously to that, but once he lost that third set, it kind of came out a little bit. You could see it in his body language, and I do think actually that adjustment, as we talked to, actually returning from really deep in the court, was even a suggestion of it.
Another wonderful night here, and what has been another wonderful edition of the Australian Open, and there have been so many over the years, so many great winners. Serena Williams, she has thrilled the crowds here, as did Rafa back in 2009, and a fairy tale beckons on Sunday for the Spaniard as he looks to claim his second Australian Open title, and it looks as though it's going to be against Daniil Medvedev.
You know, 13 years after he won the title, he's got another shot. That in itself is incredible. We're experiencing some greatness, aren't we?
And after all the injuries as well. Crowd want more. Can Tsitsipas
15 love.
rise again? How crucial that opening set breaker seems to be now.
Gee, I'm wondering if I'm watching Lazarus here. Who knows?
Tennis has gone to a place that at the moment, and whether it's physical or mental, Tsitsipas can't live with them.
Well, pretty difficult to maintain a level like this. You have to be a great player to maintain a level like this for 4 or 5 sets. Medvedev obviously can do it.
Guys, Stefanos playing quite fast right now. That's very unlike him. The time between those last couple of points. Again, right now, already up to the line. We're still at 18, 16 seconds now.
Brad, the difference for me, great return, sorry Mark, the difference for me is that when he misses now, he's starting to miss by a lot longer, or a lot more. A lot of balls way long, a lot of balls spraying wide. He's just lost the balance and the strength, I think, and the commitment. Maybe the concentration too.
Has been hugely impressive from a man who looked like he was unraveling at the end of the second set, but for Medvedev in the last year or two, his change occurred when the pain of staying the same became more than the pain of changing, and so he changed, and that corrosive attitude that at times definitely held him at bay and lost him some matches, he has overcome that hurdle, and he is about to put himself back in the Australian Open men's final.
Well, in a one-on-one sport, competitors get angry at times. They do. It's inevitable. He got angry. He had his say, whether you agree with it or not, but he put it behind him. And that's probably what's won him this match as much as anything else.
Thank you.
That's a strength of character to put that, to change your mentality and get back on the job.
Please.
This is a performance, you got to say.
14-long.
Yep, a mirable one, whichever way you look at it. This fourth set has been perfection from the Russians.
Thank you. Please.
Casual as you like, Medvedev sets up the final of the Australian Open with Rafael Nadal. In the end, it was a demolition from Daniil.
And in the end, the vast majority of the crowd, he can sense, does not wish him ill. They want to support him. They did. They stood there. There was an ovation. It is just a minor few that are behaving a little outrageously, in my opinion. The vast majority of this crowd appreciates what both of these players did tonight, and especially this man who has been incredible in my eyes these 2 weeks so far.
Brad, that full set was special.
Yeah, it was. He was like a shark. He just smelled blood in the water. I think he saw the same things that we were talking about. He knew that Stefanos was struggling a little bit. He raised his level. He wasn't going to give him anything. And, I mean, it's the sign of a, like Fitz said, it's a sign of a true champion. He recognizes what's going on out there. And he takes advantage of it.
Well, that wasn't the warmest of handshakes. The little apology from Daniil to the umpire. There were some harsh words uttered. But in the end, he vented his fury. And then he turned that fury into magic.
You know, he is a great competitor.
Yes, he is.
A great competitor. And I don't say that lightly. We overuse that word too much in sport, but he truly is. And you know what? He looked the opposition in the eye when he shook hands.
Yes. And he's going to look Jim Courier in the eye as well. Medvedev back in the men's final.
Congratulations, Daniil. You're back into another Australian Open final. I want to start with the emotion in this match for you. You got very fired up. What was that all about, and did that help you get through the finish line in this one?
To be honest, I don't think emotions, like bad emotions, helped me too much. And when I made it, many times I lose a match because of this, because you lose concentration, you lose too much energy, which maybe in the fourth set is not enough. So as soon as I've done it, I was like, that was a big mistake. But I'm happy that I managed, you know, to reconcentrate for the beginning of the third set. Didn't play well at all, 15-40, managed to pull out some serves, and that brought me back into the match. And I was like, okay, I lost some energy, but I have to refocus. The match is quite important, I think. So, yeah, I tried my best, and I'm happy it worked.
Yeah, it's fairly important, this match. So you're a set apiece, you're on serve late in the third set, and then you broke away. How did you separate from Steph? Because he was playing some exceptional tennis as well.
I think, you know, sometimes, I mean, you know better than me, Jim, some tennis matches, it was very even. I feel like few moments I maybe missed some balls where I could have gotten this break. He missed few, like as I say, in the beginning of the third set. And then starting from 5-4 in the third, I just found some momentum, something like in the eyes to try to read his serve, to try to put every ball in. I made a few very important passing shots. And yeah, his energy went down because of this, especially because of the end of the third set, and my energy was going only up. I think it could go even more if the match would continue. Yeah.
This match ended in exactly 2.5 hours. Your last match 2 nights ago was nearly twice this long. How did you bounce back physically? There were some of us, myself included, that were concerned it might be difficult given how physical Steph can make matches.
Yeah, when I went out from the match with Felix, I talked to my coach and I was like, how do I do in 2 days? Like I had at this moment I was so dead. Like I sat down in the locker room after the match and I barely could move. And yeah, tried, you know, to do the recovery well. And actually the next day I woke up and the moment I opened my eyes, I was like, it's not too bad. You know, I felt some pain here and there, but I was like, it's not too bad, I can recover. And that's what happened. To be honest, I was more tired than usually, and that's why some mistakes could happen, especially on the backhand. But I'm happy that today was not 5 hours, so I can recover faster for the next one.
All right, let's look forward now then. Well done. It's a good effort physically to come back. So, made the finals here last year. You didn't win it, but since then, you have won a major. You are a major champion, the U.S. Open. You're trying to win your second consecutive major. That's special. It's rare. What can you take from that experience in New York and apply into the finals against Rafa, who beat you in your first major final in New York?
Yeah, I'm going to play again against one of the greatest. And what's funny that, again, I'm going to play someone going for the 21st slam. So I guess last time Rafa was watching it near the TV. I don't know who he was cheering for, but I think Novak will be watching this one in 2 days also.
Oh, yeah?
But Grand Slam finals are special, and of course I remember the match with Rafa in US Open. It was my first final, and we played like 5 hours or something close to it. We played few matches since then, and you know, I'm ready. I know that Rafa is a very strong player, yeah. And I will need to show my best to try to win this match.
Yeah, there's no doubt you will. And I want to ask you, tomorrow's a day off, but will you take a peek at Ash Barty and Danielle Collins, the women's final tomorrow night? That's going to be a pretty good one.
Depends what time they play and what time.
7:30.
7:30. Mm-hmm. I'm usually going dinner at 8:15, so I'm going to watch the beginning of the match and then follow the live score. But
I'm trying to set you up to win this crowd over, you know, and you're just kicking it.
I'm going to watch it on my phone, guys. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
There you go.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks.
All right, this one's an easy one. It's the last question. This is an era where a lot of players travel with a lot of people with them, but you don't. You have very few people in your players' box. You have a coach, you have a manager. Your wife is often with you. She's not here this time. You could get more fans if you just invited them into your players' box. You know that, right?
I know, but you know, I want to have special people who are with me throughout the year. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. Yeah, a wife. Funny stories, especially the match with Felix. She said she watched more the live score than the TV, because the TV has like 1-2 points in behind. So she was like, sometimes she said, on my serve it would be 30 love, and she would be watching the point at 15 love, and she would be like, no way he's going to win it. It's a mistake. But yeah, this week 2 guys with me that helped me a lot, and hopefully we can go all the way.
Well, there'll be 2 guys on the court on Sunday night. The last 2 standing, it's Rafa Nadal and Daniil Medvedev. Looking forward to that one. Great job.
Well, as ever, Jim Courier, absolutely magnificent with the questions. As ever, this man always authentic with his answers, even when he gets set up by Jim to try and win this crowd over. He gives the honesty answer. And that will be the last cheer he gets. Let's be honest. This crowd is going to be all for Rafa on Sunday, and he needs to mentally prepare himself for that.
Yeah, I think that is less, though, because there's an issue with Daniil. I think
yes.
that is because of the pure love for the opposition, Rafa, that this crowd will show. That was great. What an interview. I loved it.
Brad, your final thoughts going into that? Talk about Rafa, Daniil, where they both at with their tennis.
I mean, final thoughts. You know, I mean, semifinals were incredible. We're moving on to the final, and it's going to be amazing. I mean, we've got one of our legends of our game competing against one of the new stars, now a Grand Slam champion. I mean, I can't wait for it. It's going to be unbelievable.
Yep, the conclusion to the Australian Open 2022 is going to be everything and more. This is the tale of the effort, and Brad and Fitzy were talking about it. The work rate that Steph was putting in, it was higher than Medvedev, who was happy to just play his normal game, and it was good enough. It was better in the end, and even with a little more extra sprints and a few more high-intensity changes for Daniil, he motored away down the final stretch in the fourth set. He talked about the match at the US Open with Rafa, and it did go to 5. The Spaniard getting it done 6-4 in the fifth, and it was 4 hours and 50 minutes. There were lots of different strategy, evolving strategy through that contest, and it will be just as complicated on Sunday. Rafa's won 3, Daniil won the last one though, and that was at the indoors at the ATP Finals. Weather looks a bit better for Sunday. The roof should be open, but it is one that we cannot wait to watch. Tonight though belongs to the Russian.